Hey guys, welcome to another episode with me, Shashank Udupa. And in today's episode, we're going to do a very good case study episode today, which is basically Tata Motors versus Mahindra and Mahindra. Now, both these companies have been trending. In fact, the entire Nifty Auto Index, even in such a bad market, is trending really well. But the question here is, yes, EV is the future, and we know that EV is going to be really big in the coming few years. But the constant question is this Tata Motors versus Mahindra. Now, there's a very weird thing over here, right? If you understand Tata Motors and Mahindra, look at the facts. Tata Motors and Mahindra are almost trading at the same market cap. Okay, both are valued at 1.5 lakh crores. Okay, but Tata Motors is actually giving loss at the every year. It's giving loss from the last 5 years, whereas Mahindra and Mahindra are slightly profitable. But even though Tata Motors is selling so many cars, almost 50 to 60 to 70% more cars than Mahindra, why is Mahindra also valued at the same rate? Right, so today we're going to do the stock of the month and we're going to try and understand why this stock is particularly good by looking at both the pros and cons. Okay, please understand the case study and understand what is happening in the EV space. Only then you will be able to take a good position and start moving ahead. So stay tuned. Okay, now guys, let me show you one beautiful image, right? Now if you look at this image, it's a proper comparison between the EV plans for Tata Motors and Mahindra. Now Tata Motors, the investor was TPG Group, and Mahindra recently there was an investment by British International Investment Group. The investment amount was 7,500 crores for Tata Motors because in the EV space, capex is very big and very important. Whereas for British International Investment, it was around 1,925 crores or approximately 250 million. Now the stake offered, obviously Tata Motors gave 11 to 15% stake, whereas Mahindra just gave around 2 to 4% stake at this point, right? But look at the valuation numbers. The valuation on the upper end for both companies were valued at 70,000 crores, which is approximately $10 billion, right? And it was somewhere around 30% of their entire market cap right now. Now the question here is, right, why are they doing this? Why are people coming and taking investments from outside? Because the electric vehicle market in India is very big, right? We know that it is a growing market and it's very difficult to capture, but you need a lot of money to put inside this business, right? Now, if you ask me, Shashank, this is a very capex heavy business. You need to take a lot of loan and invest for the future of EV because there's a lot of things required. But why is Mahindra trading at the same cost as Tata Motors, right? Because both are valued at the same rate. Whereas if you look at Tata Motors, they're selling 100 times more cars than Mahindra and they're not even in the race. So why are they getting valued at the same amount? That is the question we're going to answer today, right? Now let me quickly show you something. Let me do a quick comparison of both companies, okay? Now look at this. Let me show you Tata Motors first, right? So Tata Motors is trading at 1,52,000 crores, and if you look at Mahindra, they're trading at 1,41,000 crores. So more or less, both of them are pretty much at the same valuation, right? Now, if I go down and I show you Tata Motors, this is Tata Motors, right? Look at the Tata Motors revenue. Tata Motors revenue is approximately 2,78,000 crores, but they're giving a loss of 11,000 crores. Now let's compare Mahindra's revenue. Mahindra is giving 90,000 crores revenue and 6,500 crores profit. Right? So in fact, they're even giving lower revenues than Tata Motors, but why is it still trading at the same valuation? We will understand that. There's a very beautiful answer to this, right? Now, if you look at the balance sheet, let's go to balance sheet. Now, look at the borrowings of Mahindra. This is one plus point for Mahindra that they have a borrowing of 77,000 crores. That means the loans that they have taken is only 77,000 crores. Whereas for Tata Motors, if you look at their balance sheet, it's 1,46,000 crores. Now, Tata has come out openly and said that we are going to reduce this debt for all the companies, and TCS, which is the parent company, is going to take that money and give it to all these subsidiary companies and reduce debt. But if you look at Mahindra, they're sitting at half the debt as compared to Tata, right? So that is why Mahindra takes 1 plus, whereas Tata Motors takes a minus. But Tata Motors is up where? In selling EV vehicles, whereas Mahindra is not winning that game. It's not even selling many cars in the EV space. So currently it's still even, I would say it's still 1-1, right? Now, if you look at the next part, right? Let's look at the trading view stock patterns. Now, why is Mahindra doing really well, or why can it do really well? Let me show you something, right? If I zoom out, this is on a daily time frame. If I zoom out and I check the daily time frame, the all-time high was broken very recently of 1,000 rupees, right? So Mahindra had an all-time high which it broke out with absolute power over here, right? If you see this area over here, this area it broke out with absolute power. After that, it came down, did a retest to the same level. Now this becomes a new support, and then it went on to the next level, which was this. Now it is currently hovering over here and trying to make a new all-time high. But is the rally over? Definitely not, because I know for a fact that because Mahindra and Mahindra is doing really well in the EV space, and there's only like two big competition right now, which is Tata Motors and Mahindra, this definitely has a big advantage. And what is that advantage? I'll tell you now in the next segment. Stay tuned. Now, do you know what Mahindra and Mahindra was famous for? Mahindra and Mahindra was actually famous for their farming equipment. They had good tractors, they had good farm equipment that they were really famous for. Now recently they did a whole new rebrand and they started coming in which market? Do you guys know which market I'm talking about in the passenger vehicle space? They came out in the SUV market. Now if you look at it from a zoomed out perspective, in India, Mahindra and Mahindra is currently sitting at the #1 position for the SUV market, right? Now you'll be like, Shashank, yeah, so what if they have an SUV market? Because the SUV they're leading in is currently an ICE market, which is internal combustion engine market, and it's not an electric vehicle space. But let me ask you this question. What if they come up with an electric vehicle SUV model, e-SUVs? What if they come up with that? Wouldn't that be very attractive? Because they are currently the leaders in the SUV market. XUV 500, XUV 700 are amazing cars right now. Number one, point to be given, right? Number two, they've recently taken a very good investment from British International Investment, and I will talk about how that is structured as well. Okay, now let's look at how that portfolio is structured very quickly. Now, if you look at the investment, right, they have done an investment into Mahindra and Mahindra to build a portfolio of 5 electric SUVs by 2027. Now, you'll be like, Shashank, 925 crores for 5 SUVs? No. I'll tell you there's more to it, right? Now, understand what they're doing very smart over here, right? Let me just zoom in so that it's easy for you guys to understand as well. Now, understand this. First of all, it's going to be invested in 2 tranches. The money is going to come in 2 tranches, right? One is going to be coming right now, which is FY24. Next will come in FY27. So, two things will come, right? Now, what are they going to do with this entire company? It's called Mahindra Electric. Now, Mahindra Electric is going to focus on SUV market, which is the e-SUV portfolio. This will include the electrified version of XUV 300, which is going to be called XUV 400, which is going to be unveiled in September 2022, and is going to be available for sale in 23. Number one, right? Apart from that, they also expect more e-SUVs coming into the picture, and their e-SUV share is going to go up by 20 to 30%. Now, let me show you their investor presentation. Now, SUV segment in India currently is the fastest growing segment right now. Okay, please understand this. So the growth potential is still here, right on top, right? And if you look at Mahindra and Mahindra's position, it is currently sitting at #1 rank with respect to revenue from the SUV space, whereas Tata is sitting at #2. So automatically these guys have a massive advantage when it comes to the SUV space. So they're not going into passenger vehicle, they're going directly into SUV space. But I would still ask you this question, guys. Even though they're going in SUV space and Tata will win the passenger vehicle space, the smaller sedan versions, but is it still justified for Mahindra and Mahindra to get such a big valuation? Not necessary, right? But let's look at some more things, right? How is this deal structured? Let me go down and show this deal structure for you guys as well. Now, Mahindra and Mahindra is investing 1,925 crores with respect to equity, which is 250 million. And these guys, British International, is doing it with respect to cash, right? So there's going to be 2 cash transfers, which is through CCPS, which is compulsory conversion preference shares. Now, if you look at the passenger vehicle company, it's going to be called Mahindra Electric, right? And the total capex requirement that they need is 8,000 crores, which they will eventually keep going ahead and raising. But who's doing what in this joint venture, right? So basically what they're going to do is they're going to make Mahindra and Mahindra is going to provide manufacturing support, design support, product development support, technology support, and sourcing services as well. So they are using all their network, which they have with dealers, suppliers, financiers. They're using all of that network to launch this new Mahindra electric vehicles, right? So this is going to be very, very, very interesting to see how they come and fight Tata. But it's still going to happen. It's going to take 1 more year. So Tata still has 1 more year to currently enjoy right now. Another advantage for Mahindra and Mahindra, look at this very carefully. This is called cash deployment, which is capex plans. Okay, what is capex plan? Earlier they were saying that we wanted to do a very big capex investment. We wanted to do 8,000 crores of capex investment. But now what happened is they have saved a lot of money. Why have they saved a lot of money? Because BII is coming with an investment of 1,925 crores, where they're giving equity instead of taking debt. So that way their capex of 11,900 crores has suddenly gone down and reduced to 9,975 crores, right? But all of this is great. Now you understood some of the advantages of Mahindra and Mahindra, but I would still say, right guys, I would still say that does it justify the hypervaluations? Yes, some of the good points are Tata is winning one department, you will win another department. Great. Tata is losing money on a yearly basis, you are winning money on a yearly basis. Great. Mahindra wins there. Mahindra's debt is half, Tata's debt is double. Mahindra wins there again, right? But all the other things look okay. But there's one segment, guys, which we are missing, which Tata is not even looking at, and Tata is not even close to winning that market. And you know which market that is? It's the electric three-wheelers market, your auto rickshaws. So basically, Mahindra and Mahindra is now coming up with a new electric vehicle for autos, and they're actually going to come with the auto department, and they're going to enter that space, and they're going to do massive investment over there. Not only are they coming out with an auto, they're also coming out with a three-wheeler in the cargo segment. So they're going to use three-wheeler cargo. You see those cargos where they carry in behind. That's also going to come into electric. Why? Because they have a very big farm portfolio, which all they have to do is change the farm portfolio to an EV portfolio, and nobody can compete with them there, right? So that is the massive thing why analysts today are very bullish on Mahindra and Mahindra, because Tata Motors does not have any space there to play. And in fact, nobody has a good space to play right now in that space. So the electric rickshaw market, or the rickshaw market, is going to be taken over by Mahindra and Mahindra, right? In FY22 itself, it has sold more than 8,000 electric vehicles, which are three-wheeler vehicles. 8,000 three-wheeler vehicles have sold in FY22. So that is again very, very great. Now, Tata Motors is doing four very interesting things, right, to make more profitability and to reduce its debt. Number one, it is exiting loss-making entities or loss-making businesses. For example, it's exiting your Mahindra First Choice Services. It is exiting Ganze. It's exiting Gibbs Aero. They had all these different things which they're exiting right now. Second, they're reorganizing their entire business structure. What they're doing is all the loss-making subsidiaries are now categorized into category A, which shows a clear path that can become profitable. Category B, which is going to show quantifiable strategic impact. Can it be used for my EV department tomorrow? And category C, which says unclear path and there is nothing there. Let's just exit it. So one is A, which is going to profit. Number two, can I use this for some leverage tomorrow? Number three, completely use this, throw it off completely, right? Now, apart from that, they're also finding different business segments, which they're calling it growth gems. So they're identifying some growth gems that can again do really well. So looking at all of this, the analysts are slightly bullish on Mahindra and Mahindra, because the untapped market that is coming out with respect to EV after 1 to 2 to 3 years with the SUV space is going to do really well. So looking at all these parameters, guys, okay, looking at the parameters of low debt, right, looking at parameters of the three-wheeler segment, farm agriculture segment, looking at the parameters of a profitable company doing good revenues, potential to grow. That is why Mahindra is currently trading at a premium, is shooting up to an all-time high. The rally is not over for the next few months or the next few 1 year. It is going to do really well, and more news will come out every time they launch their new product into the e-SUV space. Imagine tomorrow they'll come out and just say that we have sold so many cars of the e-SUV, which is Mahindra XUV 400 electric, right? The stock price will start going up again. So this was a beautiful case study about understanding the difference between Tata Motors and Mahindra, and that is why for us the stock of the month, or maybe for the stock for a few months, is Mahindra and Mahindra. Again, guys, this is just a case study. I want you guys to track this stock. I don't want you guys to invest in this, because you have to do your own research before investing. I will share all my research with you guys in the description below, but please do your own research before investing in anything. Don't come and shout at me. Disclosure, I have not invested in it yet. I have invested in Tata Motors. I just did my research, and I'm showing this research only for knowledge purpose. Okay, awesome. So I hope you guys like this video. It is a quick video on the case study between Tata and Mahindra. And if you did like this, put in the comments below what next case study would you like, or what next fight you would like. I will do a nice presentation for you guys on that. Okay, this is me, Shashank, signing off. Take care. See you guys. Bye.